Greetings and welcome to the illustration and guide of Bosnia. Bosnia is a somewhat difficult nation to play as. If you are really good, you should not be able to run into many problems, although your expansion will be somewhat slow. Although you're going to be able to gain the technologies really fast, and you're going to be able to become part of the HRE with some ease. You shouldn't encounter any difficult situations except for the early game. Later on you should be quite easy in expanding your territory. With that, let's actually go into the taxation economy and let's just delve into the game. As you can see here, you have a decent amount of cash, although you're gonna build up your force limit, so I don't recommend taking any advisors. Other than this, there's nothing much more to say here. If we switch to trade here, you're basically collecting both in Venice and in Ragusa, pretty standard. Later on you might want to move to Genoa. If you also go for a trick with the exploration ideas, that's the second idea. I'll talk about this in the ideas tab. You can also get cash from the new world there. If you become the HRE Emperor, you're gonna have plenty of troops. So first and foremost, focus on Venice. Later on, you're gonna move over to Genoa. Now let's delve into the states here. As you can see, you have 29% here. Pretty much so close that you can actually fill it. You need to give one more province to them or boost up the development in Tarvunia by one in whatever slot you choose, so you can get the admin points here, 150. So you can get the options to get the decisions here because you need influence at 40, which is pretty much it. That's the standard stuff. On burgers, you're not gonna be able to do anything, just leave it like that. You can, to some degree, boost it up. You need the influence. You might want to give them some lands. We'll talk about this if you have Dalmatia, or if you want to give them Ragusa as well later on. That is doable as well. But this is basically part of the late game. Part of the expansion guide. For the nobility here, there are some options that you can pull off. First and foremost, you can call the basic diet. That's gonna go to 74, and you can actually demand military support. Then you're gonna get your points back. You're gonna get 100 points. If you want to be a little bit more annoying, you can go for Grant a Generalship, and you attack Venice and you take Dalmatia from them. That's gonna lower your overall control over the states, and that's gonna be fine for you. And you can actually pull that off with a general if you want to. If not, you can just straight out pull the Grand Generalship card and do not do the recruit, and that's gonna get you to 84, and that's gonna give you more time there. That's your basic options there on nobility. Here, if you want to give them Don Kaji, they're gonna gain a huge amount of loyalty, and you will need to have 6 support. So you can perhaps recruit the minister, recruit the Inquisitor, and state the minister to the Pope. Then you can have support the clergy later on if you need them to have extra loyalty there. That is also a reminder there. If you can check my voice, I have a cold, that's why it's so annoying here. If you look at your leader, he's quite shit, 02, just make him into a general, make sure he dies. Your heir is decent, 33, he's halfway, has the half points, not that great, but could be better. As for your focus here, you can go either for admin, or if you want to be a little bit more tricky, you can go for military and go for military first. I'm going to talk about this more in the ideas tab. On the government standard stuff, you are a kingdom, you have national manpower plus 10%, and you have income from vassals. Nothing much more to say here. Pretty standard stuff. For diplomacy, your only 2 options as a vassal are Ragusa and Serbia. Ragusa has a guarantee by the Ottomans, so you're not going to be able to attack them. And Serbia, you might want to avoid attacking them earlier on, simply because you might want to save the development you have so you can join the HRE. If you look at this, you need to have 130 relations to join the HRE. And at the same time, you'll need to have basically Dalmatia. When you have Dalmatia, your overall development is going to increase, and you're going to perhaps go to 160, something of that sort. So just take Dalmatia and that's going to be over. Now, where were we? Diplomacy here. For alliances, Hungary, Austria, Poland. We want to go to Hungary first because they might want to attack Venice. As you can see, they are the rival, so they might attack Venice. At the same time, Austria is necessary for an alliance, so you can actually join the HRE. Another alliance is possible with Aragon if you want to attack Venice. But most likely your best option here is to attack Venice yourself, so you can take their lands, so you can actually move to a new world. I'll talk about the new ideas for a new world later on. Man, this call is killing me. We already talked about cash, trade, let's talk about technology. On technology here, if you go for the military route, try to use the modifiers as much as possible, including military, even at the point of not taking it if you want to go to war basically, though that's a limited option there. But yeah, use the modifiers as much as possible, so you can save points. At the same time, for these states here, it's gonna be really hard for you to get colonism, but for the first, for the Renaissance here, should be quite easy. I mean, you're close to Italy. If you actually move into Italy yourself, you're gonna be fine. At the same time, if it breaks open in Venice, for example, you might be able to get Venice, to get Verona as well. It usually breaks in Verona or in Milan, depending on the luck there. So you're gonna be fine with the Renaissance. As with the colonialism, it again might actually break into your lands if you go for the exploration ideas as a second idea. Now, let's delve into technology. Here in technology, actually, one more thing on technology. On the diplomatic tab, diplomatic technology, if you want to go for an idea on Diplo, save the points. But usually, you can go for military idea first. It's quite stable, but you need a decent amount of skill. Let's talk about ideas. The ideas overall of Bosnia are quite crap. You have the Thrones of Heretics, Religious Unity. They are decent in your situation right now, but as the time goes by, they're going to be really crap. They're quite crap right now. I mean, they're only useful for keeping your lands in check for the first like 15 years, but later on they're quite shit. You have the tech cost, which is okay. You have the legitimacy, which is crap. You have the leader without upkeep. Not that useful in this patch because you have the feudalism that's gonna give you +1, so not that great. You have the diplomatic relations +1, okay, I guess. You have the vassal force limit 100% and the income from vassals 25. Not that great, I'll say. Diplomat, it's okay-ish, and attrition is shit, and 4 defense is shit as well, and core creation cost is okay, no. Decent, I would say. The minus 50% is decent, but it would have been better with the minus 25. Overall, as I said before, the ideas of Bosnia are quite crap, and there's nothing much more to say here. For national ideas, you have 2 options: the standard land conquest of influence and admin, and the more tricky one with the military idea followed by exploration idea followed by either religious or expansion or admin or influence, depending on the situation. If you want to go for the second part, so we'll go for offensive, let's say, or quality, offensive or quality, followed by exploration, followed by influence. If you want to go for the HRD build up and you want to go for more vassals, the religious ideas if you want to expand into a new world, because in this patch they removed the CB here, so you need to fabricate claims on their lands, and that's going to be tricky. So those full CB from the religious ideas is going to be good. For expansion ideas, if you want to expand more into a new world, and anime ideas if you want to go for a more core heavy, basically, and use mercenaries. But although if you're the HRE Emperor, you're gonna have the manpower and the force limit, so it might not be that redundant. Yeah, that's it on ideas. It's up to you how you want to go. If you're a really good player, or let's say medium to, I'll say, let's say that you're a level 8 player out of 10. You should go for the military first, then exploration idea second. If you're lower than 8, 7 and lower, just go for the standard influence and expansion influence and enemy ideas. That's all I have to say here. For decisions, pretty standard stuff here. You have the decisions for being Eastern Tech, and some decisions for you to switch, to switch administration here. Pretty standard stuff, nothing that important. And yeah, nothing more to say here. On stability and expansion, stability boosted 1, make sure that you always have it 1, is the most efficient one, or exhaustion reduced when you need to. Here I recommend going for the native repression or the native trading policy, although native repression policy is more stable than native trading policy in an increase of settlers. And that is it on the stability and expansion. On religion, you're Catholic, you have some lands that are Orthodox that need to be cored, pretty standard stuff here, nothing much more to say than this. You cannot actually fight for the queer right now, you'll have to take a cardinal first, then you're able to fight for the queer as well. For the military, go for a 6th 3 cav, that's gonna give you the maximum firepower there. At the same time, remember that you're Eastern Tech and you're gonna be able to have 60% cav compared to your infantry in battle, so that's gonna be fine as well. Other than this on military, there's nothing much more to say. You have 9 force limit. For your naval, try to build some galleys, but that's gonna be in the later part of the game when you can field enough galleys to fight the Ottomans or fight for the Mediterranean. Or if you want to do it, you can actually get some carracks from the burghers here, the decision for the carracks. And that is it for military, and that is pretty much it. We'll talk about more in the expansion guide, and I'm gonna talk about the HRE membership and expanding to the new world. With this, I bid you farewell, and if you enjoyed this, comment, like, and subscribe. Ciao.